Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me again today for an Explore the Tarot session where I basically dive into a tarot card for the day, connecting it up with an archetypes card and just really picking out meanings within the cards, new interpretations, new messages that you won't find it on a standard kind of tarot website or in standard tarot guidebooks. I really want to help people to begin to read the cards more intuitively and to kind of see the many layers of meanings that sit within every single card. So let's see what's coming up for us today. All right, we have the Two of Wands. I'm already getting quite a strong sense of what today's card is all about. I really want to say that this card is all about setting out a vision for your future. You can see that the man on the image, he is looking out onto the world. He's got a world in his hand, like a globe, but he's also looking out onto this very expansive landscape. But if you take a closer look, you'll see that one of the wands is kind of bolted to the wall, while the other one is kind of free, it's in his arm. And that really symbolizes to me this idea of planning, of beginning to see a way forward, of beginning to see a way of expanding your own horizons, but also acknowledging that you might not be fully ready yet to just jump into it. The thing with the tarot is a lot of the time when we're coming to the cards and we're asking about stepping into the unknown or stepping into a new experience, 9 times out of 10, the tarot is going to tell you to go ahead with it, to seek out new experiences, because that is how we kind of expand our capacity for aliveness, for consciousness, for new opportunities to come into our lives, right? So that is usually what the tarot is saying. But when this card comes up, it's actually also advising us to take a step back and to really look at the vision that we want to set out for ourselves, to really think much more expansively, because often this card is saying that there are other opportunities, there are other avenues, there are other ways of thinking about your future, of thinking about what's ahead that you haven't yet tapped into, right? And to kind of really begin to recalibrate how you see your future. Let's have a look at which archetype card comes up in relation to this. It would be really interesting to begin to pick out a meaning. The box. What an interesting combination. Let's see what the box is all about. Okay. The box. The cage, the rules, the norm. We all live to some degree within the confines of the box. This archetype represents everything that is known, anticipated, and expected. It holds us in place while simultaneously holding us back from our greatest visions. The box is sneaky, insidious, and everywhere, limiting us at the most unconscious levels. It is built of layer upon layer of social constructs and pressures. Breaking through its confines requires awareness, continued effort, and bravery. The box may appear as expectations from parents, a well-paying but heartless job, the pressure to look or behave like others, or simply to stay small. There is a box around you now, made of some type of confining thought. What is it? The box shifts and morphs as we grow. This is part of its multi-layered nature. Once you break through one layer, another will present itself to you. Keep going, break through. An exquisite life requires it. Wow. Everything within the box is known, and what's outside of the box is unknown. That really speaks to this image, right? He is literally within a wall, kind of like a box. He's standing behind a wall, and everything outside of him is unknown. It really gives a new perspective on this card, because what we're really saying is often the vision that we have for ourselves, the vision that we have of the world, of our possibilities and position within the world, is constructed. It's constructed by the box. It's constructed within a kind of structure of constructs, of expectations, of social norms, of cultural norms, right? Of pressures. And often we will limit our idea of what we're capable of what we could do in the future, what our future looks like, unknowingly. Because what we're really doing is just taking what we know. You know, we're taking social norms, pressures, expectations, ideas of what it means to be successful or what it means to live a good life. We take that stuff that we've been conditioned to believe and we apply it. We kind of project it onto our future. And that's really what this man here is doing. You know, he's holding the whole world in his hand as if he already knew exactly what lay ahead. He's already holding this constructed image of the world in his hand. And the reason why this wand is still bolted to the wall is because really what we're saying here is the ideas that you have about the world are actually in your head. They don't represent reality. They don't represent the true scope of what you're capable of. You know, this kind of map that you have in your head, this kind of created thing that you have in your head, doesn't actually reflect the outside world, which is so expansive and so full of many different possibilities that you couldn't even imagine. So how do we really begin to internalize this message? You know, it's so difficult because we always, as the guidebook said, we always live within some kind of box. And our life is just a constant stepping out of that box. It's trying to step out of that box. But I really think before we can begin to step out of that box, before we can begin to kind of really try and expand our understanding of what's possible, we have to really go in, and that's what this card is inviting, to really go in and begin kind of projecting onto the world, but from a state of centeredness, of pure centeredness. There are some truths that we can begin to hold on to. The first is that the power of life resides in the present moment. Yeah, even though it is so wonderful to kind of think about the future, and it can be really comforting to think about the past, the real power of life, of aliveness, which is what the wands are all about, the real power of aliveness resides in the present moment. You can really hold on to that as a beginning point towards beginning to expand the possibilities of your future, of beginning to allow that process of the world around you, not the world that you've created in your head, but the actual world around you, to begin to bring new opportunity to you, to begin to shape what's really possible for you. And it begins by remembering that the present moment is where you truly reside. When you can tap into that, when you can really begin to kind of be in the moment, be with your body, to really just feel the power of being, and to really recognize that whatever your future is going to bring, that its richness, its fullness really comes from you being fully aware and fully present to it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what the shape of the world is or what the shape of your future is. If you are willing to meet it in full presence, awareness, and when I say presence, that also means full gratitude and appreciation, because when you appreciate something, it means that you're giving it your full attention in a kind of spirit of love. When you can begin to meet the world in that way, where you see every moment of your life as just another present moment, a meeting of the world in the presence, every single moment in your life is that. That's when you're ready to kind of step out into the world. Yeah, that's when your future and the world around you begins to unfurl in new ways that allow you to step out of the box, that in fact completely disintegrate the box. I think it's really beautiful that there's this like radiant light right in the middle. Sometimes we can wander out into this box and get kind of caught up, entangled within these kind of constructs, these pressures, these social norms or cultural norms. We think, I should do this, I need to do that. In order to be successful, I have to do this. But actually, the only truth that we can really hold on to, the truth that lies right in the very middle of this box, is that you are most powerful in your presence. The most potent thing that resides within you is this ability to be conscious and aware at any given moment. That is your power. And everything else will radiate out from that. You know, you'll always kind of live in a box of some kind. That's the kind of nature of human existence, right? We are conditioned in so many ways. But you can begin to expand that box through presence. You can begin to invite in many, many new ways of thinking. You can begin to disintegrate certain aspects of the box that you currently live in, which are leading to misery, and build new constructs, new ways of thinking of the world. And you can also build an ability to occasionally completely let go of that box, to be present and to not have to hold any kind of structure of thought in your mind, to let that fall away. And that's really where the joy lives, in being human. So yeah, I'd really invite you today to work on your presence, to work on your ability to stay in the present moment. And their future will unfold from there. Thank you so much for watching today's session. I'm definitely going to try and put this into practice myself. And I will see you again tomorrow.